Guys, welcome to another case study. Welcome, Arian.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, pumped to have you here with every other case study I have here. I think your story specifically is the first one that we've had on the channel where you've hit some pretty serious figures while studying at university. So do you want to tell the guys why we're here and what type of results you've gotten?
Yeah, so I'm currently 20 from Canberra, Australia. I've been in uni for about 3 years now, so this is going into my third year. And I got into Connor's program like around the start of last year. And I've just finished off a record month at about 10K this month.
Wild. And how old are you?
I'm 20.
Wild. Wild. And so obviously it wasn't a overnight success. Like you said, it took about a year to get here,
Mm.
which is usually an average. The timeline I see holds up pretty statistically, like 6 to 12 months
Yeah.
is usually the timeline I like to give for an expectation. So it's good to see we've hit that right on the mark.
Yeah.
And so to take us back to the beginning of your journey, getting into things, what did you try? Did you try many things with making money online? What did you look at? Um, and yeah, how did you come to high ticket sales?
Yeah, so I'll take you back to 2024. So this was around like July, like June, July of 2024. And I came across this guy like on TikTok. I was just on my phone, and then I came across this guy who said he was gonna like try and make money online. And usually I just like skip through these people, but this guy seemed like pretty authentic. He literally had a few followers, so I was like, you know what, it can't hurt to just follow this guy and see what happens. Um, I won't name him because he actually has like a lot of followers now. He's got like 40K. But so yeah, I followed him, and then for like a few, like probably 2, 3 months, I didn't really see much from him. Like he was just posting here and there, like random content. And then he posted like his first win. Like he was on Smoko, like he was a tradie. He was on Smoko and he made like $800 or something from DM setting. And I didn't know what like the business model or anything was. I just saw he made the money, and that's what obviously stood out to me. And I was like, holy shit, like is that really just possible? Just making money from like just sending DMs. So I reached out to him on Instagram, pretty much just asking like, what do you actually do and like how can I get started? And I won't mention, you probably know the sales agency, but I won't mention them. But like they target like tradies and like they get them in, train them up, and then have them kind of sell for themselves. It's like a bit of a pyramid scheme. And I didn't know that at the time. So I, went through the whole funnel and everything. Like they gave me their VSL and they labeled it as like homework. So I was like dialed in. I was like, wow, I got to get this done before the call. And then they dropped like a 9K like price tag on me, which I didn't expect. And I was like, nah, can't do this, man. And the guy tried objection handling me, but I was like, nah, I can't do this, man. And then I took like time off, like looking into sales, and I just, kept studying and everything. But then, yeah, I found like I think I told you about it a while ago, like the trading stuff. Like I tried copy trading with this guy and didn't really work out. And then like I saw more sales stuff. Like I came across more ads of like sales trainers. And that's how I found you. So I found one of your original mentors. I think you might remember. And then I asked you about him because you had like a testimonial for him.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, yeah, yeah. And then you were like,
Yeah.
this is from like 5 years ago, man. I don't know why you're still posting this. And I was like, oh wow, that's really stupid. And then I just like consumed your content and everything. I reached out to people like in the RSA, like Ajinkya, like who's a close friend of mine now. I literally reached out to him as like one of the first people. Um, and I think that's what really drew me to you. Like you just seemed really like you just seemed like a human. Like all these other people, like if you want to call them gurus, like they just don't seem like a real person, right? And I think that's what stood out to me about you. You're just like a genuine guy. Like you didn't even push me to join. You're like, look, man, you don't really have the money to join at this current point in time, so I wouldn't even recommend it. And then you just kind of sent me on my own way before I ended up joining like a few months later. So I think that's what really drew me to you. But yeah, I guess that's where we're here now. That's really the journey.
I love that. Appreciate the backstory there. One thing I wanted to touch on there, which I think is really interesting, and if you're looking into high ticket sales right now, I think this would be really beneficial and useful for you to hear this advice. If you're looking to work with someone to get you into this space, be very hyper vigilant and be very aware on whether or not they're actually teaching you how to get into high ticket sales. Right? This is very, very key. I'm not going to name names or specific companies, but there is, especially if you're an Australian, because I think that's, primarily who they
Yeah.
target.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you need to be very, very careful and understand whether or not what you're learning is high ticket sales versus like personal branding to, resell the program. Because there's a
Yeah.
huge, huge, huge trap that I see a lot of guys fall into because the personal brands look great, the content looks great on the front end, but in reality, once you get in, you're paying, nine, $10,000. A lot of these guys going in debt to do so, to then find out that they're actually selling a program that is not even high ticket sales, they're selling the company, which you said it literally is the definition of a pyramid scheme. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you
exactly.
touched on that. Did you want to expand a little bit more?
Yeah, so yeah, obviously won't name them or anything, but like their whole idea is like I think they target tradies specifically just because like I mean who wants to really be a tradie, right? Like they work 60-hour weeks upwards of that. It's really hard work. And like I think that's really where they touch on like just the pain of being a tradie. And because obviously like the people that sell the program or whatever, they were like traders themselves. So I guess that's where they get most of their marketing from. But yeah, I just came across the guy's profile. I opted into everything, like DM the guy. He obviously set up an appointment with one of their closers. They framed it as like homework. This is mandatory. You have to do this, otherwise you can't join. And then like I did all of it. I was like, oh crap, am I gonna get this done in time? It was just all their VSL stuff. Joined the call, and it was just a standard closing call. I thought it was more of like an interview, just like him vetting me to see if I was like able to do this. But then yeah, he just like I was even worried I wasn't gonna get into the program. Like the way he asked his questions and everything, like the closer, kind of made it seem like I wasn't okay for this. Like he just made me. I guess it was his job, right, instilling doubt and whatnot to get into the program. But yeah, he then dropped the price tag on me, and yeah, I just didn't want to join because to be honest, their pre-call stuff, like DM setting and like actually seeing if I was qualified, it was really bad. Like they didn't qualify me at all. So yeah, I was never going to close on that call.
Did we actually have a sales call for you to join the community?
No, that's what I was going to mention as well. Like throughout this story, you literally just piff me in the DMs, man. Like that's how like ready I was to join. Like I really just want to join. Like I saw all the content, reached out to everyone, sounded great. Like I didn't even have any doubts or anything. I was just ready to get started. And then yeah, I told you I was going to join like late January, I think after I'd received a paycheck. And then like you posted that thing on your story, and I was like, what's the point in waiting for a paycheck? It's going to hit my account anyway. May as well just join now. So that's really what happened.
I love that. And so take us to the point of where you got into the high ticket sales space as well, a bit, to give the guys a bit insight around your journey. So you came in, you joined the training, you joined the community. What happened from there? How long did it take to get your first role? What did your first role look like? Give the guys a bit of insight.
Yeah, so obviously it was around January when I started, right? And then I'd spent the first few weeks, I didn't even join any training calls, which I thought like to join a training call, you needed experience and stuff like that, but I was completely wrong. So if anyone's watching this, like make sure you join the calls. But what I'd spend the first few weeks on was just because I had no school at this point in time. I'd already finished my first year of uni. So I just absorb all the content. Like I'd go through all the like lecture content, just write notes, just rewatch it over and over again. And then I did start networking with some students in the community. So I saw some people who joined at the same time as me, notably Dylan, who, for anyone watching, he's also another case study. So yeah, I spoke to Dylan like pretty much every day. And then moving forward, we'd actually role play pretty much every single day, like for months on end. We did this consistently every single day. I think that was the backbone of my skill and his as well. Just getting like pretty much constant reps. But yeah, so from the start, going through all the content, going through like networking, right, making sure to role play, and then also attending the training calls, like once I felt ready. Um, and then I landed my first role pretty early on. So it was a month in because of Ryan. So he helped me get into committed. At the time, I thought I was going to be like appointment setting because I heard when they were there, like at the very beginning, they did setting for like a week and then they'd just move on to closing right away. But then right when I joined, they changed up the whole system. So they literally hire like hundreds of reps, right? And they'd just make us sell supplements, which I didn't want to do. It was not really like closing. So I ended up just leaving. And then the main mistake I made for sure was just not vetting offers properly. So I got on two more offers after that. One was a marketing agency, and another was like a coaching offer for people with addictions, like drugs, alcohol, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, for the first one, they said it was warm leads, but it was purely just cold calling. So that was a big mistake. And then the second one, it was a completely new offer, which I didn't know. And I made a big mistake of joining that because I wasted like another month there. But then I landed my first role at the fitness company, so WeFlex. That was through help with you and Ajinkya because you guys referred me, and Richard as well. He did refer me as well, and that's where I made my first money. So about 6 months in.
Nice. And so your main advice to beginners looking to enter into the space is that offer vetting is very, very important.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing because I've seen like people like me come in and like take a few months to get like a good offer. But then literally some students they come in, they spend like a month or two here and they're already making money just because they've made sure to vet the offer properly. Like even though their skills aren't as great, they still like have a good enough offer just to be able to make some sort of money, if that makes sense, just because they vetted it properly.
And I think it's a great thing to touch on because I get asked a lot for people that join the community, right? Like, how long did it take to get your first role, or how long does it take to I see X, Y, Z result? And the
Mm,
answer is it depends, right? It could have
exactly.
a small fraction to do with luck, perhaps, but I would say a very big part of it is to do with how high you're willing to raise the standard for yourself of like what you're willing to accept as, first role as a beginner, or even
Mm,
if you do have some experience, like, are you going to hold a healthy hygiene standard for what you'd look for as someone who has a bit of sales experience? Like, that is
yeah.
going to make a very big difference between you seeing your first money within 30, 60 days or seeing it within, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? It makes a very, very big difference.
Yeah. Exactly. Like another mate of mine from Canberra as well. He obviously joined the program recently. It literally took him around a month or two, Jacob, right? It took like a month or two just to get a role with a pretty good company as well. Yeah. Just because he had that sales experience before as like a real estate agent. So yeah, it definitely does translate over.
And I think the offer that he joined is with someone who haven't filmed a case study yet, Josh Indram, but I
Hmm.
think he's a manager in the offer, and I think he's done over 10K a month in that offer as well. So
I believe so. I believe the company is pretty good.
yeah, which is solid. Um, but yeah, moving on. So how much did you get to the point of where you're earning? Because I remember you sent me a message when you were at the fitness company, being
Hmm.
that you're like, dude, this is crazy. I can't believe I just earned $500 while being at uni.
Yeah.
What tell us more about that? Like what type of income were you earning and what was a few moments that shifted for you, like especially when you're in the car at university?
Yeah, I'll explain that story a bit. So I literally just finished like a lecture, so or like a practical or whatever. So what I did as well for uni, like specifically, if people are watching this and they're in uni and they want to know how I did it, I make sure to have all my practical classes or like things I have to attend in person. I try and get them all on the same day, at a time when I'm not working. I know it might sound a bit hard to do, but it's just, you got to try your best. So this day, like I pretty much, and it's with the offer as well. So my offer was pretty chill. Like I told them I'm still at uni, and they said, yeah, you can take like time off on a certain day if you need to. Um, so I'd pretty much just finished off all my classes for the day. I got to my car and I had like a few calls I had to do. And I had a call with this prospect, um, this for the fitness office. So like it's signing their children up for like fitness classes. And you get paid commission for that offer once they've actually been matched with a trainer. So I called them and the matching usually takes around a week. But this person literally got matched instantly, which is why I got pretty much paid right off the call. And it was around like $300. And like just being able to make that money from like my car at university was just mind blowing to me. But yeah, just to continue on your question. So at that point, like for the fitness company, I was making around 3 to 4K a month. So I'd say it's pretty good, for someone my age. My friends are making similar money, like if they're in a trade or whatever. But yeah, I made that, at home while still studying. I thought it was pretty good. And then things really changed for me when I got referred to the offer I'm on now. That's when things set off. So in the first month, I made about like my first full month, made about 7.5, and then this month I finished up on the 10.
Amazing. Super cool. And to tell the guys and give a bit of clarity and context around what you sell, like what do you offer as a company? Like how do you help people?
Like my current one.
Hmm.
So it's in the career coaching niche, so obviously like a really good niche to sell. But it's hard to explain to someone who's not familiar with the industry, but it's in something called quant finance. So what that basically means is like it's for people who are from STEM backgrounds, so like science, technology, engineering, maths, that kind of background. So really smart people. Like I literally spoke to a prospect from Harvard the other day. And pretty much what they do is they use like maths and like coding and stuff like that just to execute trades for them. And they usually work at like Wall Street companies, right? Like hedge funds, prop firms, market makers, things like that. And it's a really lucrative industry. So there's a lot of competition and wanting to get into it because internship salaries literally can be like 400K. Like that's like a top of the range internship role. But like salaries literally go into the millions. I'm pretty sure it's like the most paid job in the world, which is why people want to get into it. So what I sell is basically a program, pretty much teaching them how to get into it properly because a lot of people fail. Like there's only like a 1% chance to get into it in the first place. So our program includes mentors, interview prep, like questions, like skills on what to actually expect in the industry as a whole, community. So we have pretty much everything they need to get into it. And we have like a job placement guarantee as well. So that's why the offer is so great. It's why like leads pretty much convert with little to no effort.
Love that. Yeah. And so what what is it priced? What's your commission per sale?
So we frame it as a scholarship as well. That pretty much sells them on like urgency, right? So we don't really have to even objection handle them or anything because we give them a week's scholarship of 2100. So it takes the program down from 5.8K to 3700. That's USD.
Hmm.
And then there's a flat rate of 7% commissions, but if your close rate increases, I believe if you maintain like a 22% close rate, it bumps up to 10%. So yeah, definitely like a lot of opportunity to make even more there as well.
Nice. And I think some guys would be wondering as well, particularly guys with like university background or people who work jobs normally, which is obviously most
Hmm.
people who watch my channel. How does your schedule look like and how do you juggle that at the moment? Because obviously you're still studying at university and just to tell the
Yeah.
guys what you're studying at the moment.
Yeah, so I study exercise physiology and rehab. But what my schedule looks like, so I have my calendar set up because it's a US company. So I'm calling leads, like US leads in the evening. And then we are worldwide as well. So I do call some people from Australia, UK, and other random parts of the world. But I have my calendar set up from about 6:30 a.m. So I wake up around 6, get prepared for my first call. And then my calendar's open till like midday, so around 12 to 1. And of course, like the calendar doesn't get fully packed out, but yeah, that's pretty much like my time frame that I work. And I only work around 15 to 20 hours per week at the moment, just because lead flow is a little bit down. So there's not as much work to do. But in the remaining time that I have, so outside of work hours, that's when I have time to study, go to class, go to the gym, whatever it may be. So it's really manageable for me.
Nice. And I think for a lot of people who are studying in university or guys in the US, college, it's
Mm.
good to hear that from someone who's actually in the game right now, like yourself,
Yeah,
who's able to manage their studies and also, do this
for
and earn
sure.
really good money alongside as well.
And I think it's really important as well to have like a good offer, right? Like not just an offer that obviously has like good marketing, like processes and whatever, but the actual team as well, like not working with like bad people. Just because my sales manager, he's literally like I think he's like a few years older than me, and he's like the most chill guy ever. Like I've never met someone like a manager or someone in sales who's as chill as this guy. Obviously, he wants to see you succeed. Like he wants to push you and he'll definitely help you achieve that. But he's just really chill, right? So when it comes to like if I've got to take a day off, like if I have an exam, like I had Ramadan recently, so I had to take a day off for Eid. If I just need to take time off, I just tell him and he's like, yeah, it's all good, man. Just turn your calendar off. Like just having a really good team that supports you is really what makes it possible.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to emphasize. Like you said earlier in the conversation, offer is really, really important. And also, again, your ability to not only get your foot in the door, which is what you've done, because you got your foot in the door technically with a referral to this offer. Am I wrong or
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So the top closer, he referred me. That's how I got into the offer. Yeah,
solid? But like in equal proportion, being able to ask the right questions to make sure it's going to be a good offer for you is a really important skill set, as you've highlighted.
for sure.
Because not every offer in our industry is created equal. And for any beginner that's like looking to explore this industry as a whole,
Hmm.
it's just something to understand. It's like just because someone posts about getting a certain job necessarily doesn't mean it's a fantastic one. That's really important.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's where a lot of mistakes were made on my end, like seeing other people like I just landed this like insane role, like I just did this. And like seeing other people like it's obviously great motivation, right? But I guess it sort of clouded my judgment, like when it came to vetting other offers. Like I just saw like the advertisement, like, yeah, this offers like OT, whatever it may be, warm leads, et cetera, et cetera. Like it sounds good on paper. And that's what really just made me like want to jump at it right away rather than just doing the most important things like, yeah, how many closes do you have? How much money you guys currently making? Like, what's the marketing like? What's the funnels? Like, just questions like that, really actually just vetting the offer out. That's really what I missed out on.
Yeah, I think if someone's watching this looking to get in the industry, not having those skill sets or not being able to leverage someone with experience and, ask questions, the opportunity cost on that is mad. It's just ridiculous. So definitely get
100%.
definitely get a mentor and definitely learn how to vet and screen for offers because again, that's equally as important, I would argue, in terms of being able to sell. Because like you would say, even on your account and the business you're working for right now, it's not much really sales ability that's required, like
Yeah.
you said.
Like they were literally hiring not long ago, like literally like last month. And they put a job post up. So it wasn't internal hiring like when I joined, but they just put a job post up somewhere. And it said on the job post, no sales experience required, but it's preferred. So it's that good of an offer, but you don't even really need much sales skills on it.
Yeah, which is wild. And I think it'd be really good for a lot of people who are hearing that, watching this with no experience. So, in your position, obviously, you would have had a lot of thoughts about sales coming into the space in general when you're, first starting out a year ago.
Mm.
What are some things that you expected about the industry or this learning the skill set in general? And what do you think has changed after being in it for a year and actually being in a good position now? What do you think is now different now that you're actually in the space and now that you're actually doing this full time?
Like what's kind of changed about sales as a whole?
Yes, like what did you believe about the space and industry, or what do you think were some limiting beliefs that you had that you kind of abolished for a beginner looking into this?
I'll be honest, when I got into sales, I didn't really have too much of an understanding about it. I all I'd heard about at that point was what I mentioned earlier, like with the DM setting, like sending messages to people. I didn't really even know too much about closing. So I learned more about closing after I'd actually gone into the program. Because I thought sales was just DM setting at that point, right? But I think the main thing that held me back, like limiting beliefs in general, was just it's pretty similar to like other business models. Like, can I actually do this? Like, what separates me from other people? That was like the main thing. Like, even once I'd gotten into the space, like I'd even started making money with the fitness account. Like, I guess the main limiting beliefs are like, can I actually go further? Like, what's kind of holding me back from doing that? I'd say that's really like the main thing.
And so after going through that and achieving the transformation result that you have, what do you feel like you see in people that do make it in this industry or do get the results looking for from the people who don't?
It's just the people, like, I mean, it's as obvious as it sounds, but it's just the people who don't give up. Like, obviously, time takes time. You obviously preach the, nothing for a while and then everything all at once, right? So that no truer words have been spoken, in my opinion, right? Because, I could have given up, but like, and obviously a lot of people say like they wanted to give up at some points. I'll be honest, I didn't want to give up. Like I'm not one of those people that were like, oh, like, man, should I just give up? I just wanted to keep going, even if it was like sucky, like, I was just going through the suck, if that's what you want to call it. Like I didn't really care how long it was going to take. I just knew if I just kept going, like I'm bound to get a result. Obviously, you knew like I came from powerlifting. So I think that's where most of the mentality came from. Obviously, your friend, has got a program targeted towards athletes. I'd say athletes are definitely like really, really good for sales just because of the mentality that they have. Um, and just because when I hit a plateau, like when I was in powerlifting, right, like I couldn't get past this certain weight or whatnot. I knew if I just put in the work, like the inputs, whether it be sleeping properly, eating well, just making sure I stick to my program, whatever it may be. I just knew that plateau would break. So you can apply the same thing here. Like as long as you just show up, right? Whether it be coaching calls, role playing with your friends, networking, just getting better in general, like whatever it may be, you're bound to like see results. It just takes time.
That's great advice. And I think for anyone that has that same fear that Ariane had, or that same concern about, is this business model right for me, or can I actually do it? I really strongly agree alongside that. Pretty much every case study, if you look on the YouTube channel over the last couple years, really, all practically pretty much say the same thing. As long
Mm.
as you're consistent and as long as you just don't give up, you're going to get the result given a long enough time horizon. 6 to 12 months is a long time for a lot of people, but in reality, it happens just like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
joined
exactly.
RSA a year ago, now it's gone by in a blip, and now you're at 10K a month in a really great position that, most 19, 20 something year olds could ever dream of. And
Exactly.
all it took was just putting your head down for a year and sacrificing. Like, there are points where you didn't make much money or you made a mistake and you could have easily given up, which most
Mm.
do. But as long as you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, if Arian can do this, if Connor can do this, if all the other case studies can do this on the channel, I know that it's not easy, but it is simple. I put one foot in front of the other. There is no way that you can't get to where you want to go. And the only caveat to that is I would add to that is there's a difference between showing up and participation.
Exactly.
If you are consistent and you kind of just show up and you attend, you're doing better than most. But that difference is the participation. Like, what are you
Yeah.
actually doing on a daily basis? You're not going to get rewarded just for coming and playing the game. You're going to get rewarded for coming to play the game, but actually playing game, like actually showing
Yeah.
up with that, because it makes a really, really big difference. I'm not sure on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, obviously, like taking action for sure is what st like it's what makes people like I guess stand out from people who achieve results within 6 months versus 12 months. Like I'll admit, definitely I could have put in more effort for sure. I think everyone can, even the ones that are, working their asses off. But I think it really does come down to whether or not you decide to show up, but then what you're doing in that time as well. So yeah, like you just said, you can obviously show up, but then there's a point where you've also got to do it on your own. So you've got to go out your way to do all the like the sucky stuff no one wants to do, right? You don't want to, no one actually wants to make a list of companies they want to work for. No one actually really wants to do that, but it's the people that like go through it and actually do that kind of thing. That's where they actually see results.
What do you think in your mind from your own personal experience is the action that separates people who get results and the people who don't?
So what separates people from, yeah,
What
okay.
actions, what effort do they need to put in? Like, how do they need to show up? What are the things they need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis
Hmm.
to, get a type of result that you've gotten?
Definitely attend, like when it comes to working with a mentor specifically, definitely literally listening to what they say as verbatim, like not falling off that track. Again, coming back to like the offer vetting, like if I'd listened a lot better and just, asked the right questions and really just vetted the offer hard, I would have probably achieved a result a lot quicker, I'll be honest. So listening to your mentor verbatim, attending all the coaching calls, even if you don't want to go to them, right? So it like even if they're at like some whack time, like I believe like they're like 1 a.m. at sometimes, like I'd still join them, right? So just making sure to absorb all the information you can. So like actually going through all like the learning material, like learning all of that. And then doing stuff in your own time. So obviously role playing with other people, just learning about sales as a whole. Like I'd even though like everything you need was inside the program, I'd still go on YouTube just to like learn more stuff about it, right? So to having like a genuine interest in wanting to learn more about sales, I'd say that's really important. And then, yeah, just doing all the sucky work again. So just, actually looking for offers, like making a list, actually reaching out to people in the companies, getting on networking meetings with them. Pretty much just going above and beyond to do what it takes, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense. And I think these case studies are a really good asset that a lot of people watch before joining the training program as well. Gives the right expectations as well as getting some really good advice as a blueprint,
Mm.
really, from guys like yourself who've got the results that, they're most likely looking for.
Mm.
Not only do they get the right expectations, but um, they also get in combination to that direct examples from someone like yourself of like what you actually did that resulted in the result that you've gotten. So I think that's really helpful. And so
100%.
for you, what is the goal from here, man? Like you're doing super well for your age, you're still studying at university. What are you looking to do heading into 2026?
Yeah, so obviously just keeping up the momentum, hit the first 10K month, second month on the account, like second full month, just keeping on going, getting consistent with the 10K months, and then eventually, because we're actually increasing the price of our program, so there's just more commissions for the same work. So um, you know, getting to that 20K mark will definitely be the next stop for me. Because I'm pretty much at like half the workload I could be doing. So like obviously once marketing and everything, gets back up, taking more calls, I can definitely see myself making 20K in a single month.
Love that. That's super cool. And I always love to hear that because it's like to go from where you were a year ago to now envisioning and conceptualizing that you could be on pace of doing 20K a month or very close to doing so, which I'm sure you will,
Hmm.
is a crazy thing to conceptualize compared to a year ago.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to touch on something you were actually speaking about earlier. You said like a lot of people like they might quit because they don't see themselves making money for like a few months. And I literally, because I told you when I first joined, I was like an NDIS disability support worker. And I'd literally make only 2 grand a month doing that. Um, and obviously, just someone young, a student living at home, you don't really need too much money anyway. I think that's what really drove me to join in the first place. So I quit my job, like for reference, I quit my job pretty much right when I joined the program because I didn't have many expenses. And my philosophy going into it was, it doesn't really matter if I don't make any money for like a few months because I'm just living at home. My mum's happy to cover a few expenses if needed. And like it's literally just fuel. Um, and like I knew I was going to make money. It was just a matter of time. So I think most people in my situation who just give up because they're not making money, you have to just see it as like, what's the alternative? You can like continue just going to uni and then you get into a job. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But I'd rather spend the time like as someone who's quite young who can afford to take risks, still living at home. I'd rather like actually take that risk and go down that opportunity of potentially making 10K plus per month, right? Rather than just, sticking with some random job, like whether it was disability support work, whether it's something else most people do my age, and just like going down that avenue, just keeping it like chill, if you know what I mean. Like I wanted to go out there and actually take that risk because you can afford to do it.
100%. And I think to double down on that advice, if you're younger watching this, like I have clients that are in their mid 30s, right? They do really well in this industry. So if you are watching this, you're a little bit older, that's totally cool. We can get results with you too. But if you are a bit younger watching this, Arian's age, you're in your early 20s, this is literally the best time where you have the least amount of risk and the most amount of upside. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing something like this if you're really genuinely interested in making a change. Um, a great way to understand like the advice that Ariane was mentioned before of like the risk and the like potential upside being that your job that you currently do right now is difficult. It is hard, and quitting your job or going all in on high ticket sales eventually, it's not something that you do right from the jump. You may not do that like Ariane. A lot of guys juggle a nine to
Yeah,
five and then eventually transition. Um, all that's going to be hard. And with whatever career that you stick to, whatever that may be for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that's going to be hard also. So
exactly.
it's what type of upside comes with that hard. And I knew, at least for me, and the same for Arian, as I described before, is either way is going to be hard, and one may be a little bit more risky than the other. But I'd rather take the risk and I'd rather accept the hard because I already know both life is going to be hard. I just know one's going to be a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah, it's definitely just choosing your hard because yeah, I could have just been in the same spot, still being a disability support worker, like making 2 grand a month. Or like, yeah, I took that leap and decided to jump into the unknown and now I've like 5x that income and there's obviously potential for more. Because that was like 2K, I was just stuck at that. But with sales, you can obviously always improve. So I think it's definitely just about choosing your hard and just seeing what you want to do.
Love that. And so you've been in the training program, you've been working with me for over a year now. So what does that experience look like? What would you tell someone who wants to get in from, a perspective, someone who's been there? What's it like being work with me? What's the community like? Give us a source.
Yeah, so it's what I expected and more, 100%. Because obviously coming into it, like I said, before even starting to work with you, I'd messaged some of the guys already. So I'd messaged most notably, I believe it was Ajinkia and Shay. So I'd messaged them about the program, like, is this legit? Like, how is it? And they're all like just as real as they can get. Like they told me like, yeah, it changed my life. But like I could see they're actual like real people. Like they're not just random like bots on online. Like they're actual genuine people. So I think that's what stands out from the community. Like you're speaking with guys who just want to see you win. Like they're in the same position you're in, and they just want to see you win now as well. And they're like genuine blokes. So like from the community standpoint, it's definitely like it's definitely more than I expected. Like I didn't expect everyone to be so welcoming, and people helping you without expecting anything in return. I think that's where a lot of people like um, might shy away from like sales communities. Like they expect like no one's going to want to speak to them because like who the hell am I like compared to them? But what I liked about the community is how open they were, like to newer students. And then as well as like the training program as a whole when I got to like the later parts of the content, like more like the sales stuff, like objection handling, whatever it may be, this is what I felt like I was like actually missing. Like this is what you don't find from like free resources online. Like this is like the hidden stuff, like what you need to like pay to get, if that makes sense. Like so the training program itself blew my mind. Like I was like, wow, like there's no way like people would just give out this information. Obviously there's, price behind it, but like yeah, if you know what I mean. Like it was just crazy to me just seeing like all these fantastic resources just available for me, like whenever I needed it. And then obviously access to you, like on top of that. So if there was anything that was unclear for me, you were just like literally in my pocket, like in my hand, like I can just message you whenever I wanted, and I'll just get an answer like pretty quickly. So yeah, expectations for the program definitely blew my mind.
It's brilliant, man. I always love hearing that feedback. Um, what type of difference do you think it has made from two aspects? One, having aspect to a really solid community, as well as proximity access and speed of communication myself.
Um, so how do you mean, sir?
So, in terms of having access to me and like that speed of communication, as well as like having access to like the right community and like having exposure to the right people and things like that, how do you feel like those two things have played a role in your success in the industry?
Oh, definitely very instrumental. Like, because we there's literally like a Discord just full of RSA members as well as the community, like the school community. So the reach there is insanely quick. People are posting job opportunities there, like they're just talking about sales in general. So that like the speed of access to the community is like really quick. So if you have any questions, you can literally reach out to either you or the community, and you can expect a result like within either like minutes or hours. Like it's really quick. And I think that's where I've heard a lot of like mixed reviews about other sales like trainers and stuff. Like they reach out to like their community or their mentor and like they don't hear for like a few days. But that's the complete opposite inside the RSA. Because yeah, you reach out back to us like within literally like a few hours, and you're on the other side of the world for me, so that's pretty incredible. I'd say so.
Love that. And I think one of the biggest drivers of results, I believe, in the RSA is proximity and speed of access. I think that makes such a big difference. Being able to tap into someone who has 6 years of experience, who's seen practically every problem that you could even fathom in the industry, to be able to go, right, you need to change that, or do this, or go here, or don't do that, do more of this. think that makes
Mm.
such a big difference. And I think if I had myself 6 years ago, I don't know where I would have been at this age.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just right at my fingertips. Like if I have any problems, I can literally go to you and expect there's like an answer like within like a few hours. Like it's honestly pretty crazy.
Love that. And so obviously the training program well exceeded your expectations. In case it isn't obvious already, how likely would you be to recommend the RSA to anyone that's watching, or what would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence?
I'd say, especially for a student, like just coming back to like someone from my background,
Yeah,
I'd say, look, you're at an age where it doesn't matter what you really do because think about the alternative. You're going to go through university, you're going to get into a job whether you like it or not, and that's just the alternative. Like it's literally just there. Like you have a safe option. Whereas if you want to take that risk now, invest some money into yourself. Again, I say invest because the money obviously comes back. You invest that, and I literally said I'm making 5 times what I did before I joined the program. Like, I'd say that's like if you're on the fence, like you just have to like jump over it. Like there's like literally no questions about that. Um, just because, yeah, like it's honestly, I know it sounds cliche and whatnot, but it's honestly life-changing, man. Like I don't know where I would be if I didn't come across like you and the program like a year ago now.
I love that. I think that hits the nail on the head. So, dude, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Course. I think your story is really inspiring for especially a lot of guys who are in university or college, because I think that's a really, really big, not excuse, but objection that a lot of people give themselves. Like, I'm in university, I'm going to wait till I
I'm just gonna
finish,
wait.
or
Yeah.
whatever else. Like, um, instead of me saying it as a final note, what would you tell someone who's in that position who's kind of like, I'm going to start when I finish university or whatever else? Like, what would you say to someone in that position?
I just say there's no point because again, like just reiterating, because you'll hear people probably ask you like, what's your placement rate like of offers and whatnot. You can think about it this way, like the placement rate's 100% for people who come in and actually put in the effort. It's going to be 0% for people who come in and just like give up after a few months, right? So if you come into the program with the mindset that you actually want to commit to this, because a lot of people want accountability, but I think accountability comes from actually paying for the mentor. Because what's the point in paying for these resources if you're not going to actually use them, right? So I think it's really, really beneficial if you come into the program with the mindset like, hey, I want to do this, like I'm going to actually commit to it. Versus coming in and like kind of just slacking off. But I think it really does matter coming into the mindset that like, so I'm going to do this, and the alternative is just going down the safe route of just getting a job like through uni, whatever else it might be. Like that's always there. But if you come into the mindset with like, I'm going to take this risk, I'm going to bet on myself because the potential upside is literally like, double, triple, quadruple, whatever it might be on the other, like opposed to like the traditional route, like I'd take that risk knowing that there's like a safe option there as well. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like that's like kind of the mentality that I had going into it.
I love that. It's great insight. So, dude, thanks for hopping on. What a great interview. If you guys want to get the same results as Arian has gotten, or get something similar to his transformation, you know where to find me. The usual platforms, message me on Instagram, book a call, all that usual jazz. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next interview.